Welcome to the Wellness Real Estate Podcast. This week, I'm bringing to you the client gift that keeps on giving. Imagine if your closing gift was something that could transform your client's newly purchased house into a home. This is exactly what our special guest helps homeowners with through her unique approach to home organization using her certifications in life coaching, organization, and her background as a registered nurse showing empathy and care. Jennifer Dubois offers in-person professional organizing and interior styling services to clients in San Diego and virtually across the country. I mentioned she has a background as a registered nurse, a certified life coach, and a master's degree in nursing education. So she brings a unique blend of skills and experience to the world of home organization and styling. She views the home as more than just a place for shelter. She says the home environment plays an important role in our mental well-being. While every home doesn't need to be picture perfect, she does believe that your home should feel good, reflect your personality, and support and embody the life goals we desire for ourselves and our families. Her passion lies in helping clients declutter, organize, and style their spaces, creating personal retreats that are inspiring and joyful to be in. She firmly believes that feeling good at home contributes to feeling better everywhere else. So, if you're an agent who is looking for ways to provide more value to your clients, stay tuned because having Jen in your network of home professionals that you can refer is a no-brainer. And in fact, giving this type of service as a gift to your clients is just one way you can give goodwill, show your care, and create a trail of raving fans who refer you everywhere. Okay, let's grow. Welcome to the Wellness Real Estate Podcast, where you'll discover a groundbreaking strategy that is transforming real estate marketing. In every episode, we focus on topics that will help you have more authentic engagements and meaningful conversations about your business. As the wellness real estate impact grows, with projections reaching $850 billion by 2027, don't miss this opportunity to revolutionize your approach, generate more leads, and increase sales, becoming the community connector you're meant to be. I'm Sheila Alston, and I'm your host. I'm also the founder of Healthy Home Media, where I help agents all over the country leverage this new trend in the industry to spark new conversations that get people to listen to you and notice your brand. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels without the consistent leads to show for it, then stay tuned. This podcast is your guide to standing out in a rapidly evolving market, guaranteed to change the way you think about real estate marketing. Hey, welcome to the podcast today. I have a really special guest. Her name is Jennifer Dubois, and she is a home stylist and home organization specialist. But she brings a unique blend here where she also talks about emotions and our well-being because she's also a certified life coach. So I'm just so excited to bring her on here because I just know that as a realtor, we want to connect with healthy home professionals so we can offer more value and refer some home professionals that not every realtor is. So welcome, Jen.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm so happy to be here and to get this opportunity to talk with your community.
Yeah, and when we first met, I was just so intrigued with your idea of how you said, my company is all about wellness and I use home as a tool. So can you maybe explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you. So I like to say that I'm in the business of wellness, right? And that my modality is the home, because I believe your home should be set up to support you as you navigate this life and as you are on your journey towards better wellness. So yeah, so that's my philosophy.
Yeah, and I love that because I think so many people think wellness is just diet and exercise, right? And we
Yeah.
know that that's just one component and there's so many other ways. And why I think this is, I brought you here on this marketing podcast for real estate agents because I just think that if you expand your knowledge and network, you can help your clients in so many more ways. And you had said that you do work with realtors and that they love giving your services as a gift to their clients. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got started in this and why this resonates with you so much.
Yeah, so I was a busy nurse working in the hospital among other busy nurses, busy, stressed out nursing, right?
Mhm.
But what I noticed with my colleagues is that they were chronically overwhelmed. They were always overwhelmed and always stressed out. They would even come to work stressed out. And I figured, I obviously nursing is a very stressful profession, and I wanted to figure a way to share some of the things that I do for self-care as a practice with my colleagues. So I decided to start a self-care company. I initially thought, okay, bubble baths, candles, but none of it really resonated because none of those things are sustainable. None of them
Hmm.
are sustainable. But I was at a standstill because I couldn't figure out how I wanted to share my version of self-care. So I just went into a journey of listening, and I
Hmm.
was talking to several of my friends, and one friend in particular had gone to a vision boarding party, and she had met this individual, and she said that her essence reminded her of me. And I
Hmm.
was like, who is this person you speak of? Let me meet this person, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, so she sends me her Instagram profile, and this person is a professional organizer. I was like, that's interesting. I'd never heard about professional organizing before. So I looked at the individual's profile and I was like, okay, mental note, this is interesting. And I
Hmm.
was like, professional organizing, maybe that's something that I could do. So I went on the journey of figuring out how to get a degree in professional organizing. So I
Hmm.
searched the internet, and clearly there's not a degree in professional organizing. But what I did find, there was an association, National Association of Professional Organizers, a
Hmm.
network of professional organizers from across the country, and they offer certification and continuing education. And that individual was the president of the Los Angeles chapter. And I was like, wait a second,
What?
this person came up into my awareness twice. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, okay, note to self, note to self. And I
Hmm.
think it was probably maybe a few days later, I was listening to a podcast that I had been listening to for years. This individual was a guest on the podcast. The
Oh my
podcast
gosh.
was about all the dynamics of wealth, and the
Mm.
individual was sharing how important it was to make sure that your home is set up to support a wealthy lifestyle. So I reached out to that individual and I explained, my journey towards
Hmm.
my connection with her, and she became my first business coach.
That's
So
awesome. And she,
yeah,
I mean, it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe that's a sign.
right. I was like, okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. So then that's great. So then what happened as you evolved helping your nurse friends? How were you able to bring like your life coaching or, the mental aspect to the home organization?
Yeah. So when I first started, I figured my tagline was let Jen nurse your den. And I wanted to be a caregiver for the caregivers, right? So I
Hmm.
started working with nurses, then I expanded to working with others within the healthcare professions. Now
Hmm.
generally, I just support generally women. I
Hmm.
support women because I believe that women in general, we bear the brunt of the workload of the home environment.
Hmm.
And I feel like, and another thing too, I feel like we are the one that are interested in having a nice home. So I try to
Hmm.
target women primarily. So yes, I did start with working with nurses, and I still
Hmm.
do, but now I work with women generally. Women, who are professionals, women who are empty nesters, women who are essentially stressed and overwhelmed, and they need a place where they can go to recharge and reset. Because life is going to continue to life, right? And we all need that place where we can land and kind of be enveloped by things that feel good and things that make us feel good.
So what do you think is the biggest or like the common problem, common denominator that you see with your clients? Just what are they struggling with? I know that sometimes decluttering seems to be kind of a big issue. People just start to accumulate things. Is
Yeah.
that normally how people get introduced to you, or is there some other big problem that you're helping them with?
The biggest reason people reach out to me is that they are overwhelmed by the clutter in their home.
Hmm.
They just have an overabundance of things and it's draining, but they
Hmm.
really don't know what to do about it. They try decluttering,
Hmm.
they try organizing, but they
Hmm.
don't follow a systematic approach, so their results aren't long lasting. So the biggest
Hmm.
problem I see is that people have this problem and they don't have a systematic way of approaching it. So they get defeated because their results that they
Hmm.
work so hard for aren't long lasting.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the thing that's holding them back from being able to just like say, wow, I have a clean home now. Let's keep it that way.
It is mindset. It
Hmm.
it truly is mindset. Mindset in all aspects. Mindset in the aspect of clearly understanding what you need or want from your home.
Hmm.
Oftentimes we get influenced by the things that we see externally or we get influenced by all the shoulds and woulds that come from our upbringing, that
Mhm.
we're not clear on what it is we truly want.
Mhm.
I think it starts there, getting very, very clear on what your desires are. What is it that you truly want out of life generally and out
Mhm.
of your home as a support to the life that you want to live?
Yeah, and I think that's probably a missing element that people don't realize is that your home can support your life goals. It can support where you want to go. It can support your health and well-being.
Yeah.
And they just kind of miss, they think of, like I mentioned, health and wellness is just about the supplements you take or the exercise routine and the food on your plate. But that's kind of mind-blowing, actually, if you could think of your home as um, a supportive haven, so that you can feel good. I'd love for you to share maybe a story of how you helped a client do that.
Absolutely. I have so many. Let me think. Let me think. I think about this couple. There was a couple that had just moved. They just got married, just had their first baby, and they just moved. So here are all the stressors. Recently married,
Mhm.
brand new baby on the way, and just moved. It's so overwhelming. So they
Mhm.
moved to a new city and they reached out. They had reached out prior to moving in anticipation of the move. So I work with them to, first of all, get clear on now that you have this new family, now that you have this new living environment, what is home experience? What do you want your home experience to be like?
Yeah,
Right?
and most people probably wouldn't, I mean, how do you even answer that? That feels like a big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, it does feel like a big question. So what I
Yeah.
guide them to do, I said, what are the activities that are going to be happening in this home of yours? Right? What are
Right.
the things?
Start there.
Are you having friends over? Are you having dinner every night? Are you exercising? Are you starting a new business? So you need a office space.
Hmm.
So what are the activities that you anticipate that you'll be having in this home?
Hmm.
When you walk through your door, what feelings do you want to have? Do you want
Hmm.
to feel calm? Do you want to feel inspired? Do you want to
Hmm.
feel invigorated?
Hmm.
Right? How do you want your home to function? Do you want to be able to easily find things? Do you want things hidden, put away? Do you want surfaces clear? So we kind of touch all the senses.
Hmm.
We get clear on how you want to experience your home as it relates to your senses. And
Yeah.
once we have that plan, we think about, okay, now that you're clear, and we call everything that comes up, we call it your desires. These are your desires.
Hmm.
Now that you're clear on your desires, what are the reasons and roadblocks that you don't have those things right now? For example,
Ooh, that's a good question, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then go on, sorry.
No, that's okay. So when you walk, let's just take calm, the feeling of,
Uh-huh.
and welcomed with the feeling of calm. Let's just take that. So you desire to feel calm when you first enter your home. You don't
Hmm.
have that right now.
Hmm.
What are the reasons?
Hmm.
Because there's a pile of shoes at the door.
Hmm.
Oh, I come in and I see my dining table and it's covered with paper clutter.
Hmm.
Oh, I come in and there's all these boxes from my last move that remain unpacked,
Hmm.
right? Right?
Hmm.
Okay, so those are the reasons. So what are the roadblocks? Why haven't you unpacked? Why
Hmm.
haven't you cleared off the table? Why haven't you put the shoes away? And when we ask these questions, we don't ask them with judgment. We ask
Right.
them with a sense of curiosity,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because okay, I don't put the shoes away because I don't have time. I'm always hurried when I come in.
Hmm.
I haven't unpacked because I don't know where the things should go.
Hmm.
I haven't cleared off the mail clutter off of my table because it's too many pieces of mail are coming in. And
Hmm.
when they come in, I don't know how to process them. And
Hmm.
the papers that I need to keep, I don't know where to put them.
Hmm.
You see? So now we're getting to actionable things that we can do, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
it could just be a matter of bad habit too, right? Like I wonder what do you see as one of the mental roadblocks that people have
Hmm.
besides just, is it that they're telling themselves they don't have enough time or it's too over, or is it something else.
Yeah, I'm happy that you brought up the word bad habit. So what I look at are habits. I don't make
Hmm.
a distinction whether it be a bad or a good. It's just a thing.
Okay.
So let's go back to the meal. It could be them telling themselves when I come in, I don't have enough time because I just dropped the mail on the table and I gotta get to making dinner.
Hmm.
So then we
Hmm.
look at time. Time is a
Hmm.
construct, right?
Right.
We have 24 hours in a day. How can we prioritize and
Hmm.
look at time differently? So we just work through the whole idea of looking at the concept of time very differently
Hmm.
so that we can now feel empowered over our
Hmm.
time rather than our time and calendars and schedules being in control over us.
You know what I love about this is I feel like you haven't even got to the how to declutter, let's open a drawer yet.
Not, not even,
Right?
not even. This work
Oh,
is essential because
yes.
I could just start with you or you hire me. You're like, okay, let's just open a drawer. Let's just start
Uh-huh.
taking things out. Let's
Yeah.
just put them in these pretty bins and these pretty
Yeah.
compartments.
Yeah.
That doesn't last.
Yeah. So
It
you're
doesn't
helping people
last.
get to the root so they can identify their habits, identify what their desires are. Wow, I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I know that you mentioned a story too about the woman whose bike was just buried in the garage. Maybe you can share
Yeah,
that because that's a good
yes.
one.
Oh my God, I have so many. I get so
Yeah.
excited for my clients. So there was this one lady, she was very successful business owner, and she wanted to get more active. Getting more active, riding her bike had been on her New Year's resolution list for years, and she just
Hmm.
never could get to it, right? And
Hmm.
the main reason she couldn't get to it is because her bike and all of the her biking equipment was buried in her garage.
Hmm.
Was buried in her garage. So we worked through the desires and the roadblocks. So we got to a place where she now has a beautiful setup in her garage, where her bikes, she has three bikes, they're hung nicely.
Hmm.
All of her helmets are displayed on the wall, and
Hmm.
all of the gloves and all the things that she needs for her biking experience are in these beautiful cabinets, very easily accessible. So the whole experience of the whole idea of riding her bike is an experience.
Hmm.
She gets to open her garage, it feels good because it's
Hmm.
calming. She
Hmm.
gets to glide that cabinet open, reach in for her riding gloves.
Hmm.
She gets to select her bike of choice for the day
Yeah.
and her coordinating helmet. So it all
Yeah.
becomes an experience and it's ease. And what else that makes it very efficient is that when she's finished, it's very easy to put those items back,
Hmm.
right?
Nice. So you just made that easy, that habit that she wanted to create, something that just flowed really easily. She drives in and she's like, oh yeah, my bike. And oh, look,
Yeah,
it looks so great. Let's just grab
yeah,
it and go, right? It's a
yeah,
nice day. You don't have to unpack it and unbury it from something and where's the helmet and where's everything. It becomes kind of a chore. And then you're just like, I don't have time. I don't have
exactly.
time.
And it also serves as a visual reminder
Hmm.
because as she's walking, like you said, she pulled up and she's getting into her home and she's walking by her bike setup. It's a
Hmm.
reminder, oh yeah, I want to ride my bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, I just love it.
That's amazing. So let's say an agent wants to give this as a gift for someone who's just buying a new home. What do you see are the challenges of someone who's just recently going to be moving into their new home?
Yeah. So when individuals move, see how I work with individuals that are moving, before they even pack up to move, we
Hmm.
pack an essentials box.
Oh, okay.
Right? So when
Hmm.
they move into their space, they're only working out of their essentials box.
Okay.
All the other boxes remain unpacked until
Hmm.
we get to establishing how they want to experience home in this new
Hmm.
space,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay, so when I say an essentials box, I'm thinking, imagine like you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, all the things that
Hmm.
you'll need for a 2 week vacation. So 2 weeks worth of clothing,
Hmm.
your toiletry essentials, maybe some things for making meals, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because we want to make sure that they're able to begin living in the home
Hmm.
while we help them visualize and realize their ideal home
Hmm.
experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Yeah. So before we unpack the big boxes, and it moves pretty quickly. It's not a lengthy process. We just kind of
Mhm.
get clear. Now that you're in this new space, let's walk around. Let's feel the space.
Mhm.
What are we doing in this space? Oh, we're having movie night, or
Mhm.
we're doing cookie baking, or we're hosting
Mhm.
the PTA, or whatever the case may be, or I'm crocheting, or I'm working from home, or we identify all the activities that are going to happen in this new home environment.
Mhm.
We space plan relative to that list, right?
Yeah.
We unpack and then we use what we've uncovered as a filter for determining the items that get to stay in the home.
I love that. I think that some people probably do that naturally if they're very visually oriented in their spatial. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always, even before I move into a place, I want the floor plan and I kind of, plan it all
Yes.
out. But I would imagine not everyone's like that. And so that's why moving can be very overwhelming. You've just got boxes. And even when the movers are there, like, they're like, where does this box go? Where does this
Yes.
box go? And just
Yes.
even that process, you're like, oh crap. I don't know, put it in the garage. And then you have so
Yes.
many things in the garage, you don't know where it's going to go. So I can imagine just having your help to plan that process out would make it just flow so much easier. And then,
Yeah.
even when I've done a ton of remodeling over the years, and what we've decided works best for us is to, if you lived in a house for a year and you put all of your desires on what you want to remodel, it seems like your plan that you execute ends up being way better than if you just do it before you lived in the house. Because when you live in the house for even 6 months to a year, you kind of
Yes.
learn how you want to use it, learn how it works best, and new things kind of pop up. So
Yes.
I imagine that just even 1 week or 2 week period that you spend in the house before you put everything away lets
Yeah.
you put everything away in kind of a better area.
With more intention. You know what I also
Yeah.
do for when I do a whole home unpack, declutter, organize, I
Hmm.
do include a 60-day follow-up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I follow up with the client and I find out how are things working for you and if there's anything that we need to tweak, because clearly there is going to be things that we need to tweak. Because as they
Yeah.
get settled in the house, they're like, oh, maybe I'd prefer to have this thing over in this area, right?
Right,
So
right.
we do our what's called like a reset or a refresh to get them, settled relative to their new needs that came up.
Yes, that's great. And so then I
Yeah.
would imagine if you're talking to home sellers, you can just help them get the house ready to sell, but then you're also engaging and talking with them on to plan for their next, um, whether they're downsizing or upgrading or whatever.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
find that, have you worked with any senior clients that maybe are just really attached to their memories and are having a hard time moving?
Yeah, I've worked with a few senior clients. So
Hmm.
here's the thing. One of the things, every person is different, and I'll tell you that every person's different. Their memories are different. What they want to value is different.
Hmm.
I try to help them envision um how their loved one is going to experience their belongings once it becomes theirs,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So we say, for example, I have a senior client with China, for example, with
Hmm.
lots of dishes,
Hmm.
beautiful dishes. I help them envision the person that they want to give it to and how that person will be using these items. And
So if they
sometimes
don't have space in their new place for all the china anymore, instead of just feeling so bad about giving it away because it has so many memories, you can help them envision who it's going to so that they feel good about giving it away. Is that what I'm hearing?
envision who it's going to,
Yeah.
for one, for them to feel good about giving it away, and two, to understand if that person even wants the item. For example, yeah,
Right.
seriously, right? So, client has China, wants to give it to her daughter,
Hmm.
thinking that's because that's the thing you should do,
Yeah.
right? You should pass China on to your child. And then you think about your daughter, you're like, she doesn't even like a flower pattern. She's not
Yeah.
going to use it. She doesn't have
Yeah.
the space. So you realize that it could potentially be a burden. So
Yeah.
then it shifts to you making a different decision.
Yeah.
And that decision could be we could work with a furniture consignment space, or we can try
Hmm.
to sell the items. So, yeah, there's not a specific, one of the things I pride myself on, I like to say that my approaches are very bespoke. There's not a specific way I would approach a senior client.
Hmm.
because everyone's different. What they value is different.
Mhm.
One thing I do know is I work with them to uncover the things that they want to give and then help them realize how that thing would impact the person they want to give it to.
Yeah.
That I know is standard.
Yeah.
This is the thing that you want to hand down. I had a client, not a senior, she journals, which is a
Mhm.
beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
Journaling is a beautiful thing. And she wanted to gift her daughter all of her journals.
Mhm.
Her daughter was, I think, about 2 at the time. So we started talking about her journaling habit, and we came up to the a realization. I think she goes through like 6 journals a year,
Oh,
and then
a
we
lot.
multiplied that by 18,
Uh-huh.
and then she's like, "Oh,
That's a lot.
that's a lot."
Is she gonna read all my journals from
Y-
18 years that are,
y-
wow.
Exactly. So then the onus is on them to then make the decision. So
Right.
that's my approach. So it's not a standard give your china away or sell your china. It's
Right.
that process. I guide you
Right.
through the process of really realizing the impact
Hmm.
of your decision.
Yes. And so that you can get some clarity and feel good about the decision you're making or feel good about changing the decision that you had originally thought of.
Exactly.
And it just seems like whoever you work with, you're just having a really great in-depth consultation in the beginning before you start doing any work.
I absolutely do. I do have we start with a virtual consultation, and then
Yeah.
where we lay the groundwork for how we're gonna work. And then
Hmm.
there is my process. I like to call so I am a professional organizer. I am a declutter coach and I'm an interior stylist.
Hmm.
The mesh of my skill set does not exist anywhere else. So I like to
Yeah.
call myself a home coach.
Yeah.
I am a
Well,
home
and
coach.
the life coaching. Did you mention that too? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
and my
that's
life coaching,
and the
yeah.
nursing.
And the nursing, right? It's all these things that come together to create
Right.
this unique thing. I just feel I am a home experience coach.
Yes.
That's exactly who I am.
I love it. You know, I had an email the other day from an agent who was just kind of learning about holistic real estate or wellness real estate, and she just said, you know, okay, so I understand there's 5 aspects of wellness, and she went
Mhm.
into mindset and all, was naming all these things,
Yeah,
and she said, I just don't know, you know, how does this relate to wellness real estate? And you know, I think she just her mind couldn't get beyond wellness being about the body, right?
uh,
And I said, that is so amazing. But when I think of holistic real estate or wellness real estate, I'm thinking of the home as being the body, right? So it's like
yeah,
not your body, but how can we make the home environment more supportive of your body's wellness, right? So if you think of the home, how can we have better indoor air quality? You know, what about the water quality? What about, like you mentioned, how can we make the home environment feel calm? Is that through color psychology? Is that through decluttering? Is that through placement of certain things? Is that through
yeah.
like feng shui? So there's just so many ways that you can support the home being more supportive of you. And I think kind of blew her mind a little bit, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
wow, I hadn't even thought of this, right? And so as an agent, if you can talk about the home being supportive of health and then introduce people to, you know, professionals like you, I just feel like you're doing such a great service to people. You can feel like you're giving goodwill and you're differentiating yourself and you're showing your care all in this, you know, one thing of
Oh, yeah.
just, you know, leveraging this new trend of wellness real estate to help your clients in a different way. So I so appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you so much.
This was so enjoyable. I really enjoyed talking with you and to have this opportunity. And thank you for introducing me to the whole idea of wellness real estate. It's definitely necessary. It's definitely necessary. And it does support our overall well-being. And I want to also say that the environment is an absolute component of well-being.
Yes,
It's an
yes.
absolute component. And the National Institutes of Health says it.
Yes, exactly. And the Global Wellness Institute. And that's why this whole trend of people, forward-thinking developers who are building now wellness communities, I just
Yeah,
think it's a trend that's not going to stop. And, you know, everyone's going to want to live in those communities, but not everyone can, right? I mean, most of the homes that are sold are existing homes. So
yeah,
everybody deserves to live in a healthy home. So how can you if you already love your home, how can you make it support your health a little bit more? How can
Yeah.
you, if you're doing a remodel, just maybe put on a different thinking cap and you can design it a lot better with more intention
Yeah.
to support your well-being.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I know you are in San Diego, so anyone who's
Yes.
listening in this area can actually work with you directly in their home. But how do you help people who are not in the San Diego area?
So I do travel. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, I just got back from a travel assignment over in Oakland, and I
Okay.
support people virtually as well.
Okay, great. And so how can they learn more about you if they want to connect with you or getting information from you? Where can they go?
Oh, this is great. So my website is Home with Jen D, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at Home with Jen D.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. This is great. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much,
being,
Sheila. Thank
you're
you. This is
welcome.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something that will inspire you to think about your branding and how you can market yourself a little differently. If you enjoyed this episode, then you're going to love what I have for you because you don't need to wait to go get extra certifications or grow or expand your network to get started attracting new leads right now. You can simply begin by talking about wellness real estate trends and what you've learned on this podcast with others. I mean, this is an interesting topic that no one has heard about, and I have all the tools that can make it even easier for you. Wellness Real Estate Magazine is a brand new wellness lifestyle magazine, and it's the only magazine that brings health and home together. We educate readers on industry trends and how you can create a healthier home environment. Written by industry experts around the country, and we have 3 covers to choose from: Wellness RE, Healthy Home, and Wellness at Home. So you can easily find one that aligns with your unique brand and messaging. These magazines are the perfect done-for-you tools that help you not only stay top of mind, but help you be memorable. They also educate and engage your audience, which positions you as an industry expert. So differentiate yourself and grow your brand the easy way. Learn more at healthyhomemedia.com.